So I thought it might be an appropriate time to discuss Christianity and socialism. I could have entitled this Christianity versus Socialism, but I don't want to be so black and white. I don't want to just turn people off, because I'm not a political zealot, really. I'm a zealous person, but I'm not a political zealot. Neither am I a religious zealot. I'm just generally zealous. I feel strongly about things, and that's what impels me to make these little messages, which, by the way, I don't get paid for. Occasionally I see like little advertisements. You can get paid for talking. Every time I've tried to get paid for writing or talking, it never worked out. I've given up. It's like my talent is free. It's free. It's for you. Just take it. It's a gift, okay? I'm not expecting payment, but I know that God, if I'm sowing seeds, I'm going to get a harvest eventually. Which brings us to the whole idea of Christianity is sort of antithetical to socialism. Yeah, Hitler was a socialist. Did you? Yeah, National Socialist Party, right? The Nazis were socialists. Did you know? Yeah. The government took over the businesses and everything. I bet you didn't know, but he and Stalin, they were like two peas in a pod. Who was more brutal, Hitler or Stalin? I'm not sure. They were both very brutal, horrible, disgusting human beings. I don't like communism. I don't like Nazism, okay? I like conservatism when it's Thatcherism. And you hate Margaret Thatcher. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't know. I'm an American, so I always admired Margaret Thatcher because Reagan was good friends with her, and I loved Reagan. He was an Irish American. I'm part Irish. I used to be Catholic. I don't know. Reagan had a kind heart, and he had a goodness about him, and you can't deny it. It really wasn't fake. I know he was an actor, and he did acquire dementia toward the end of his presidency, sadly. But he was a very good man, and the reason he had charisma was because of his benevolence and his goodness. And I think he was learned, and I think he was astute, but he didn't get credit for that because they wanted to focus on his flaws. His enemies wished to focus on his flaws. I remember being in school before Glasnost, really Glasnost and Perestroika. And they said, well, you know what? In Russia, USSR, what they do is like people will live in like an apartment, and a family gets it for 12 hours a day, and then another family gets it for another 12 hours a day. That's what socialism is like. Well, you can live in the house for part of a day, and then you have to leave, and another family occupies it. What kind of nonsense is that? I'm asking you. Hey, I know people are moving into my part of the world, and they're like, well, I'm so glad to be. I mean, if you're glad to be here, I'm glad for you. I'm just like, it's fine. Who am I to judge? If I were from an impoverished nation or barrio, of course I'd do what I could to just get a better life. But, I mean, have you ever thought that, folks? I mean, I've said this before. Have you ever thought that maybe if you just improved your system locally, then life would generally improve for everybody? It's not about a geographical location. It's about the philosophy of governance. Please read the Declaration of Independence. Please read the Constitution. I'm not an intellectual. I don't pretend to be. But you may glean some insights from reading those very important documents. So, yeah, I mean, we often see white people. I mean, it's 99% of the time where I live. If you see somebody begging on a street corner, it's a white person. I'm like, okay, there goes privilege out the window. I just shot your privilege theory down because If it's so easy to be white in this country, why are most beggars Caucasian, at least where I live? It's a philosophy. You don't have to beg, but there's that welfare mindset, like somebody's got to give me something. Whether they're on drugs or not, I suppose most of them are. I didn't grow up with being dependent on the state. Yeah, I know I get money from the state, like a tax refund and things like that. And I was briefly on WIC, which stands for Women, Infants, and Children. I felt polluted. I just felt polluted going into these offices because we tried to sign up for food stamps at one point too when we were first married. It's just like I felt just defiled. It's just something. It's like, I don't know. It's a spiritual vibe that you get. I don't like socialism, and I don't think that Christians, my fellow Christians, should support it. So please pray and think carefully about your country's future. Adios.